Hi, Benedict. Welcome to India today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I have to begin by asking you about that scene with the cloak. We've had that moment where you and the cloak obviously have some sort of an altercation. If I take you back in time to the first time you wore the cloak and the suit, do you remember that moment and what was your reaction like?
Yeah, well, it was my idea. It's the moment where I break away from Christine Palmer in the Origin movie in 2016, Doctor Strange, and it was an emotional scene, and I shed a tear. And then I said, wouldn't it be fun if Cloak started sort of wiping away the tear? And I was like, stop it. So it was sort of my idea, and I think from that, Cloak now has his own agent, he has his own contract, he has his own rider, he has his own team, he has everything that I gave him, and I get none of the credit. So I think I've had enough of the Cloak right now. No, I'm joking. It's a fun thing to interact with, even though it's not there like a lot of things in these films. And it's not, he does a lot of work on his own when Wong isn't there or is otherwise engaged as the Sorcerer Supreme, which is a sore point, as you know. So yeah, it's nice to have someone to talk to.
What do you make of this whole conversation that your character was purely reckless with what he did with the multiverse? And the parallels that people are drawing between he's becoming more and more of Tony Stark, or he's taking that stream of thought. What is your take on this?
Very possibly, very possibly. You'll have to wait and see what happens in this film. But he's quite an anarchist, and he likes to operate outside of the norms. He's someone who isn't constrained by rules. He's very adaptable, and that's both one of his strengths and one of his weaknesses, I guess. It leaves him vulnerable to certain dangers that he might be best at creating himself at times. I think, he's a renegade, and I like outsiders. I like people who are sort of trying to stretch the rules a little bit. They're a little bit more fun. But he is still trying to be good and do the right thing, just not necessarily
Right.
in the right way. So you have to wait and see what happens in this one.
I was just speaking to Wong before this, and I asked him and I spoke to him about the beautiful Asian heritage that has representation in MCU now. Given the fact that the world is becoming smaller, do you see a character with an Indian origin ever get placed in MCU?
It's about time, don't you think? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot more of the world still to include, but we're very happy one step at a time to be part of that story in our culture. And I think the inclusion of America Chavez in this film is a shining example of that, an LGBTQ plus community character who's representing in that regard, and also the Latino community as well. And she's bringing an awesome power. I mean, once we get to the stage where this is normal and not a talking point, that alone should be enough. She's a very, very powerful character who can punch through the multiverse. So, but it's great. It's great as we evolve that these are stepping stones to a fully inclusive and diverse reflection of our world at large, our society at large.
Absolutely. Finally, what message for the Indian fans? You have a huge fan base in India. What would you like to tell them? Would you come visit us?
Oh man, yeah, in a heartbeat. I love India. I mean, I've got a little family, so that takes precedent. But maybe I can come and work there. I don't know, do a bit of filming there. I really, really love your country. It has been almost a lifetime since I was last there as a 19-year-old, but I had the most extraordinary and informative experience, really. Informative is not the right word. Formative is the right word. When I was teaching in a Tibetan Buddhist monastery in West Bengal, in their monastery, and staying there, sleeping there, and then working in the Tibetan community as well, the refugee community there, and then experiencing India at large. First of all, when I got up there, I went from Delhi across by train through Varanasi, and then on the way back, we stayed in Rajasthan for a month and journeyed around there. And I fell in love with the country, and that's only that part of it. I haven't even been to the south of India yet, let alone Ladakh and all other regions in the north that I'd love to visit. So it's a huge place, and I've only got one life, but I'm hoping that something will bring me back there soon.
Fingers crossed. Absolutely stoked to watch the film. Thank you so much for your time,
You're
Benedict.
welcome. Thank you.